Hi, Scott Meldrum with Van Wall Equipment. We're here today. We're going to go over some pre-season checks for your combine before you get going into harvest to make sure you've checked off everything you can about the combine. So when you hit the field here this fall, you're as ready as you possibly can. Let's walk over here and take a look at the stuff on the feeder house. So we're going to start here at the front of the machine up by our single point connection. A couple things to keep in mind. Every time you hook and unhook a header from the machine, you need to make sure that all of these hydraulic connections are wiped clean. We don't want to hook up the single point from the head while these have dust and debris on them. That will introduce contaminants to our hydraulic system on the machine. The other area we want to really pay close attention to is this electrical connector right here. Over time, this can build up with corrosion and dirt and grease in here and affect the performance of everything from our row sense to our header height control to our deck plate spacing, even our reel speed on a draper head. A good idea is to spray this out with some electrical terminal cleaner. This will remove the dust and debris from there. A lot of folks will try to put dielectric grease in here. While dielectric grease is a good tool, a little bit of dielectric grease will go a long way. All of these cavities do not need to be completely filled with dielectric grease. That is too much, that is not good. Simply smear a light coating across this face and the pins will push the dielectric grease into the sockets when you connect the head. So now we're here along the left-hand side of the John Deere combine. Up underneath the gull wing doors on either side, there's a couple places that you want to check out. On this left-hand side, we want to make sure that up here, underneath the vertical unload auger, we have the sump covers reinstalled. These are taken off after harvesting season to wash out the grain tank and also keep it from water building up in the grain tank. Make sure these are put back. There's one on the front and the rear of this vertical unload auger. If those are not put back in place when you fill the grain tank full of grain, grain will run out on the ground. Moving back and up, you can see the chain tensioner indicator by that bolt up there. Make sure that on all of our chains and belts on these John Deere combines, there are indicators like that to denote proper tensioning. Look at these as you walk around your machine and make sure that they are all in the proper tension location to extend chain wear life and belt wear life. Back here on the left rear corner of the machine, one thing that we want to make sure we take a look at that's often overlooked is verify that our sieve and chaffer can be adjusted. Sometimes they get stuck from sitting over the winter. So on John Deere combines, we have this panel back here. You can manually adjust your sieve and chaffer using these two buttons. The main thing we want to do is make sure that they'll go all the way closed, all the way open, and make sure that they're actually moving. While making sure they move from back here, the other thing that you want to do is get up in the cab and make sure you can adjust your sieve and chaffer from the cab. Sometimes this will take a two-person where someone's adjusting it from the cab, the other individual's back here verifying that it is actually moving. Sometimes you can't hear that. It's better to know pre-season that it is verified and it is working instead of getting to the field and needing to make that adjustment and these actuators are not working, not functioning, and causing either grain loss or a dirty tank sample. Back here on the back right corner of the machine, one item I want to make sure we point out is that when you're doing a crop changeover from corn to soybeans or soybean to corn, we adjust this lever, which is our cob door, our cob deflector door. What this does is that down here in the corn position, the door comes down and keeps cobs from being thrown back onto our cleaning shoe and damaging the louvers. So if you're going from soybeans to corn, make sure this is set in the corn position. When you go to soybeans, move it up to the soybean position. However, if you do not move this back down to the corn position and you go harvest corn with it, you will damage the louvers on your cleaning shoe. Here, about halfway up on the right side of the machine on John Deere combines is our moisture sensor. They're located either on the outside of the clean grain elevator or on a 60 and 70 series combine, they're actually located up in the grain tank. The thing about you want to notice about these on the side mount is that we want to take these pins out and take this small auger out and make sure we clean any debris out. Now, one thing that you want to do is maybe towards the end of the season we had some wet material come through. With the machine shut off, the engine not running, you can reach up in here and make sure you clean any of that debris out. That way, this is the ejector that will clean out and do your moisture sensor sample. Make sure that this is clean and free of debris at the start of every season. Also, if you get into some really damp material, like some really wet corn or something like that, this may tend to clog every once in a while. You'll get a warning on the screen telling you need to clean it out. Just come back here and make sure you take this out and get it all oriented up in there. When you put it back up in there, make sure it locks into place and you put the pins back in, and you should be good to go. Well, we're still over here on the right hand side of the machine. We want to take a look at our clean grain elevator chain and the tension. To do that, you're going to drop this door and let the door swing down and open, and up in here you have your clean grain chain. You adjust the tension right here per the specifications in the operator's manual located in the cab. The one thing is, this is not a once at the beginning of the season adjustment. This is something that you need to check periodically throughout the season, once a week, maybe more often if it's an older chain that tends to be stretching. But keep an eye on this. This could affect how the material flows across the impact plate, which determines yield. So keep an eye on the tension of your clean grain chain. And while we're here, we're going to point up. On the newer combines, these doors up here actually swing down and you're able to clean out your cross augers. It's also like on the other side to drain water out. Older combines, they'll have a half moon cover up there. Make sure that these are back in place, installed, and closed up before you go to the field so we don't lose any of that grain. One of the things that we wanted to touch on as well was combine settings, crop changeovers, things of that nature. John Deere has an app. You can go to the John Deere App Center and then download that, and within the John Deere App Center are all of John Deere's apps. There's one called Go Harvest. In the Go Harvest app, you'll initially start by setting up your machine, so it has your settings and everything, and then you can walk around your machine. It'll tell you what you need to change when you go from corn to beans or beans to corn. It also has recommended settings for your concave clearance, for your sieve, chaffer, your cleaning fan speed. This is mainly from S series and newer. However, if you have a 70 series, the adjustments are very similar. It's just more not tailored directly towards your machine, but use that as a reference for when you're going from one crop to the other, or when you have issues and you don't know exactly where to adjust it. We will get up in the cab and we'll talk about something called Combine Advisor on the display that will really help pinpoint some of those in-field adjustments. So to wrap up, we walked around, looked at everything on the combine, what we should be taking a glance at before we go to the field to avoid some of these unnecessary stoppages in the field. But keep in mind that Van Wall offers annual combine inspections. How that works is post-season, bring your machine in along with the heads. Our technicians will inspect it from front to rear, look over all the important wear items, look for damage, give you an estimate on what it takes to fix that. Then you can choose what you want to have fixed at that time. And then also included with that combine inspection is a full combine wash. So technicians will go over it, fix what needs to be you choose to fix, and then it'll go through our wash bay before it comes home to get all ready to be put in your shed for the next season. For more information on that, stop by any one of our Van Wall locations and talk to the service department. They can get you on the schedule, give you all the details on our combine inspections, and get you ready for the following season. So thanks, and have a good harvest season.